Washington, D.C. Located a mile northeast of the White House, Logan Circle is a vibrant neighborhood known for its stately architecture. Once a center of diplomacy in the 19th century, it is now a historic district. It is here that the Old Korean Legation stands at 15 Logan Circle. It served as Korea's first diplomatic mission to the United States, a cradle of Korea-U.S. friendship. Among the 32 diplomatic missions that existed in Washington, D.C. in the late 19th century, it is the only one to retain its original appearance. As befits such a historic building, it has a storied past. In 1882, Korea, known then as Joseon, signed the Treaty of Peace, Amity, Commerce, and Navigation with the United States. It was Korea's first treaty with a Western country, and it laid the foundation for a friendship that endures to this day. A year later, Korea dispatched its first diplomatic mission known as Pobingsa to the United States in 1883. The mission delivered a royal message from King Gojong to then-President Chester A. Arthur before touring the country to learn about Western culture and technology. Meanwhile, the United States also opened its first legation in Korea the same year. The traditional Korean building where it was situated is still in its original form and remains part of the U.S. Embassy today. Korea formally opened its legation in the United States in 1888. It was headed by Pak Chung-yang, who presented his credentials as Envoy Extraordinary and Minister Plenipotentiary to President Grover Cleveland. In 1889, the legation moved to a house built in 1877 at Logan Circle, once home to Civil War veteran Seth Phelps. King Gojong later purchased the building in 1891 for $25,000 to serve as a center of diplomacy, while Korea strived to assert its sovereignty on the world stage. In the years that followed, the legation promoted Korea in America, strengthening ties while facilitating the nation's reform and development through the exchange of knowledge and administrative systems. In 1905, however, following the forced Japan-Korea Treaty, Korea lost its diplomatic sovereignty, resulting in the closure of the legation. It had been until then the center of Korea-U.S. diplomacy for 16 years. In 1910, after Japan forcibly annexed Korea, it took the building for just $5, marking the start of 35 years of colonial rule. Although the legation was lost, it remained in the hearts of Koreans living in the United States. They circulated postcards of the building with the Korean national flag as a symbol of their yearning for independence. In August 1945, as World War II ended, Korea regained independence, but not the legation building. In 2002, more than a century since Korea had last occupied the legation, the Korean-American community began discussions on reclaiming the building. Eventually, in 2012, the Korean government successfully repurchased it after 102 years. In 2013, the Overseas Korean Cultural Heritage Foundation, entrusted by the Korea Heritage Service, began restoring the legation to its original form and historical significance. To aid in the process, official documents from the Korean and American governments, along with articles and photos from domestic and international media, were extensively researched. In May 2018, the legation was reborn as a museum, built on 2 years of research and 3 years of restoration work. Finally, 113 years after the legation's functions were halted, the national flag of Korea was raised once again. The first and second floors were restored to Eastlake style using 1893 photos and records. The legation's reception room for greeting guests was known as Gaekdang. Cheongdang was a ceremonial room where staff would pay their respects to the king and crown prince. Sikdang, or dining room, was used to host tea parties and banquets for distinguished guests, including First Lady Frances Cleveland. The hall with the Korean flag was recreated based on original photography. The second floor contains the minister's office. an office for the other staff, a library where legation staff collected and read books, and the minister's bedroom. The third floor, with its original appearance unknown, has been transformed into an exhibition hall. It highlights the establishment of Korea-U.S. relations in 1882 and the Korean Legation's diplomatic efforts. On the exterior, the front porch was restored to its original form. A Korean garden was also added, featuring a traditional flower-patterned wall and a gate of immortality known as Bullomun. Most importantly, the national flag flies at full mast, signaling the legation's return to Korea. The legation was the cradle of Korea-U.S. friendship and remains a symbol of Korea's sovereign diplomacy. Today, the Old Korean Legation is proud to share an important part of history, showcasing Korea's remarkable growth and progress. It celebrates the strong friendship between Korea and the United States and the hope that it will continue to flourish for years to come.